Why do the celebrities look like they're starving themselves? This is the question that the comment section wants to know. This is the question that the media keeps asking. This is right off of the tails of Ariana Grande's escapade, where people were commenting on her body and the way that she looked and how they felt that she looked unhealthy. Well, she decided to go ahead and take a break from the public eye. And, fresh off the trails of that, now we have Jenna Ortega in the headlines, and she is sparking a larger discussion, not just about her and Ariana Grande, but about Hollywood as a whole and a trend that people see growing about Hollywood celebrities looking unhealthy. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to do a full breakdown, deep dive, and we're going to bring a media perspective on it, like we always do on this channel. As always, I'm Dason. I'm your favorite media creative. We talk all things media and pop culture here, and this is what I do full time. You guys are my job, so make sure you subscribe. We're almost at 100,000 followers on. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We are almost at 1,000 followers on YouTube and 200,000 on Instagram. So make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe so I can get my paycheck at the end of the week. Because like I said, you guys are my job, and make sure we can keep this fair. Okay. Alrighty. So there are a couple disclaimers before we get into this video. First of all, we will be talking about sensitive subjects such as anorexia, eating disorders, and just general sensitive topics that people are often uncomfortable talking about and people might be sensitive to. If this is you, you're more than welcome to step away. We'll catch you in the next deep dive. Next thing, if you're one of the people who feel that you should not comment on people's bodies, whether you feel they're unhealthy or not, this is definitely not the deep dive for you. I would appreciate if you stay so you can hear another perspective, but we will absolutely be commenting on people's bodies today because the general consensus is most people feel that they're unhealthy. And when it comes from a place of concern, the media feels it is time to talk about it. And like I said, we cover all things media here. Whatever the media is talking about, we're going to talk about. And then finally, not finally, we got two more things. The next thing is that we will be talking primarily about female bodies, female celebrity bodies. That's not because, we only want to focus on the females. When I was doing my research for this, there were some very few little known male celebrities that are having the same media attention. But just the fact of the matter is the guys aren't as loved as the females. Sorry, guys, but they just don't love us quite as much. So to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible. As I understand, I am a man talking about female bodies, but primarily this is what the media is focusing on, and we focus on whatever the general public and media wants to talk about. And then to segue into our final point, a lot of people are going to go in my comment section and go, he's only doing this for views. He's only doing this for views. He's only commenting on this because you're partly right. I am commenting on it because this is what's getting media attention, and this is what people want to talk about. So that's why we're having this discussion, okay? If you don't like a respectful commentary on how we can see what people are talking about and why they're saying the things that they're saying and how we can avoid some of the pitfalls as media creatives and public figures, if you don't like something like that, you probably want to go to the person who's view farming down the street, taking your favorite celebrities and just turning them into clickbait. Okay, that's not what we do here. We try to have respectful discussions, always from a media perspective. So those are just a couple things I want you to know before we get into this video. Before I get into my personal opinion and before we get into the breakdown, I always like to start with the comment section and the media coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, okay? Let me make sure I can switch over to my camera view. Okay, so like I said, hot off the trails of Ariana Grande saying that she's going to take a public step back. If you haven't seen my breakdown on what's going on with Ariana Grande and what's happening in the media, why she's losing her fans, you should go ahead and watch that video before you come here. But right off the trails of her, this isn't a video that I wanted to make. I was prepping to make another video, right? And I wanted to do a deep dive on Karen Carpenter because a lot of people in my comment section said they'd really appreciate a deep dive of that. Well, as I'm doing research for it, up comes Jenna Ortega, like hot off the press. My X feeds, NBC News, Esquire, The Hollywood Reporter, all these big news articles are making articles on Jenna Ortega. And so you wonder why. You're going to take a look at these. These headlines. Jenna Ortega recalls not eating or drinking on set as a child star. Jenna Ortega said she would go all day without food or water when she was a child actor. She would go all day without eating or drinking on set. This would not be that big of a deal if she did not look like this. So I've been alive for 20 years. I always try to mention my age in the videos so that you guys know how much of my lived experience I've had, and you can compare that to whatever you have. So I've been on this earth 20 years. I'm 20 years old. And of those 20 years, maybe about 15 or so, I've had a chance to look at people and actually understand them. Starting at 5, that's when you really start figuring people out. But you know what I'm saying. So out of my 15 or so years of experience, looking at her body, I know what I think. With your multiple or many more than I have, what do you think that this looks like a healthy body to you? My first thought is no. This has nothing to do with, I don't like the way she looks. I prefer the way she looked before. The first thing that my eyes are drawn to are her shoulders and her rib cage. This is the same thing I spoke on with Ariana Grande. Okay? This, out of my few short years of living, does not look like a normal standard of health. Normal looks different for everybody, but this we can accept is normally not healthy. Okay, this is everybody's standard for not healthy. When you start to see somebody's ribcage, it's either a sign of emaciation or malnutrition or some kind of health issue. We don't know what the issue is. I don't believe in showing before and after pictures because we never know what a person's real healthy was, but we do know, we can determine what somebody's unhealthy is. So this is her unhealthy, okay? And so this headline, Hollywood's Getting Thinner trend raises concern as Jenna Ortega becomes the latest celebrity to worry fans. In this article, they do a lot of comparisons to Ariana Grande because a lot of her fans are comparing her to Ariana Grande. The next Ariana Grande, one person wrote, as screenshots of this interview quickly went viral on X. It also reads, Jenna Ortega's latest interview drew attention to her physique, with some fans comparing her appearance to Ariana Grande. This reaction comes as Hollywood faces renewed criticism over increasingly thin celebrity physiques while GLP-1 weight loss treatments become more accessible. So what happened here is that once she went live with this new interview and people saw her new body and they heard her talking about her not eating on set, of course it's going to create a picture that she's, I don't want to say the word without understanding what it means in its entirety, but it's almost like she is promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. That's what people are perceiving from the media. The conversation that we have to get into today is that this is not just about Jenna Ortega or Ariana Grande. Jenna Ortega, it seems to be, she was the straw that broke the camera's back that unlocked everyone talking about every Hollywood celebrity that they have seen within the past couple of years to the most recent couple of months that have this same kind of look, vibe, and energy. So let's get into some of these comments that people are talking about. We've covered media coverage. Now, we know what the media is talking about. These are some of the comments, okay? She got the Ariana Grande treatment. If this is the only basis for being beautiful today, I don't want to be beautiful anymore. I'm fine. They're promoting ED so much, just like the 90s and 2000s. What's happening? We already did this in the 90s and 2000s. Can Hollywood just leave the girls alone? Y'all beauty standards aren't our beauty standards. Okay, there was a couple other videos. Comments. People confuse concern with body shaming. Also, people need to mind their own business. This should be in their circle to worry about. The public should just be there to educate and make sure that those they care about are not following the same harmful trends if they are actively participating in harmful health practices. And then just one more that we're going to read, 5,000 likes here. To people actually defending this and saying it's body shaming, really? It has nothing to do with looks, appearance, beauty. It all has to do with health. And not only is this extremely unhealthy, but it's also dangerous. We're going to segue to some more comments put out by the same, same media, whatever. I don't really care too much about the source so long as they're not inserting their own personal opinions and they allow the public to have an open and honest discussion. We're going to talk about it. So I'm not interested in who's putting it out there, just so long as it's non-biased and the photos aren't edited or anything like this. So let's read some of the comments in regards to Ariana Grande, looking at her with this young fan. Rather, she has an eating disorder or she's sick. It's not good at all. If she has something else going on with her body, you should just tell the world if you are a celebrity. If someone says something or shows concern, that should be considered respectful because it shows that the person cares. Here's another one. You can show kindness and respect, but still voice concerns for someone's health. Uh, there was a couple more. This one is a key one. This is a differing opinion, and it's somewhat popular. 741 likes. Yeah. Now the last time the last time I saw people bully a celebrity for this, they had cancer and died a few months later. Mr. Black Panther himself. So no comment. She's saying she's not going to comment on it. People are saying Karen Carpenter. It's so sad what Hollywood can do to people. So just give you a basic overview what some of the comments are talking about in regards to these two people. Now onto Hollywood as a whole. This sparked a larger discussion as to what's going on. Yes. This is it. Why does it feel like every celebrity is suddenly getting extremely thin? It lists Jenna Ortega, Alexa Demi, Kelly Osbourne, Ariana Grande. And so here's what some of the comments had to say. How about providing links to learn more about ED anorexia instead of posting photos of celebrities so that everyone can comment on their bodies? Do you realize that posts like this do nothing of value? Studies say that people with EDs actually look for photos like this for the inspiration. Congrats, you just did the work. Basically for them. Some other people say, I have a feeling it has something to do with Ozempic. Some other people are commenting that it's probably for movie roles. And then this is a video that I think we could watch. I muted it for copyright. But it's just showing a whole bunch of other celebrities that aren't Ariana Grande that also appeared to be facing the super thin, unhealthy looking aesthetic. And of course, the comments, we're witnessing an Ozempic and or ED epidemic. It's very strange, and we should all be calling it out instead of believing that speaking facts is body shaming. And then one more I think we have here. They're commenting on the faces of the celebrities. We have a male celebrity here. Oh, that's sad. It's very, very sad. It's real sad. I feel like their managers, I missed that comment. We missed it. I feel like their managers got bought out by GLP-1 companies. People are commenting on it being rituals. Some people are saying that they're concerned and it actually scares them. And then this one, Miss Demi Moore. This is even... Yeah, I mean, there's no words that I have for this. I haven't seen that comment. That's not funny. It's really not funny. Somebody posted a video of a skeleton and got 11,000 likes. People are laughing. It's not funny. I mean, I'm human. I don't mean to laugh at it, but there is a lot of irony because this is what they will try to tell you is normal. And the reason it's humorous, so many people resonate with comments like this, is because this is almost exactly what these celebrities look like. So now that we've gotten to see exactly what the celebrities look like, and now we have the comments, and you have a view of what the public thinks and how people are reacting and what the media attention look like. Now it's time for my personal opinion. I'm gonna keep this brief. First of all, I try to be very careful. Like, this isn't my usual forte to speak about, social issues quite like this, because I don't really like talking about people's health. I don't like looking at people's health. I have a lot of health problems. I would be remiss if somebody tried to talk to me about my health problems and educate me on what's going on with me. So I try to be very careful about this. I think the first thing I want to note from my personal opinion is that I don't know whether or not these people have eating disorders, if they have sicknesses going on, or if this is a choice that they're making. Whatever the case, it's not healthy. And I do believe that it's something that people should talk about and should continue to talk about. That's my personal opinion. My next opinion is that, again, I'm disappointed. This is something that I mentioned in my other video. I am very disappointed because as a public figure, a very small public figure, I know what you put out there is very impressionable. It doesn't matter if it's for, the children, if it's for the children that follow you, or if it's for the people that aspire to do the things that you do or are inspired by you. You got to be very, very careful because sometimes you can unintentionally harm somebody by putting out something that could be dangerous to them. And so I think I'm just disappointed in the celebrities, because the celebrities that you follow and whatnot, because you expect them, especially since they've been doing it for longer and they've had more practice and they have more fans, you expect them to be more aware. So in my personal opinion, it's intentional. But that's just my personal opinion. That's why I'm disappointed, because it's intentional. When you know that anything you do can easily be taken the wrong direction, or somebody could be misinterpret what you're doing, and you still choose to put something negative out there anyway, you've done it intentionally. That's my personal opinion. But let's go ahead and hop into the breakdown. I got 3 main points that I want to hit on. Okay, I got 3 main points I want to hit on. The first one is that, and when I speak on these 3 main points, what I'm trying to do here is break down why there is such a stir in the media, and then also what the media is trying to convey. Because the comment section, we can read all those comments by themselves and think we can understand it. I'm going to try and basically be the comment section, but as a developed commentator in a way. So this is what people are saying. This is why there's a discussion. The first reason is because health concerns override the don't comment on people's bodies thing. Okay. So when people talk about body shaming, this was something that a comment that I saw on the Ariana Grande video I made. When people talk about body shaming, there's a difference between making some fun of somebody's body and having genuine health concerns about somebody's body, especially if you are a fan of that said celebrity. There is a major difference. So you'll have a lot of diehard fans that are in the comment section. They're going, we shouldn't be talking about this celebrity's body because we shouldn't body shame, and we don't talk about. Absolutely not. Concern should not automatically be whenever I get on camera, I can't speak. Characterized as bullying. There's no, especially when it is concern. One of the comments that we read earlier mentioned something about Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. What he experienced was literal bullying. People were making serious fun of him because, as a man, he had a nice, jacked physique. He looked in shape. He was something that his body was what people aspired to be. And he got it hard. And I think part of that, and another personal opinion I'm injecting here, is mainly because his fan base is mostly male. And us dudes, we tend to be a lot harder on each other when it comes to the way that our bodies look. If we get a little bit chubby, you need to get back in the gym, you're getting fat. If you're getting skinny, you're going to get called twigs, you're going to be called weak, all kinds of things. I think that, because most of his fan base was male, he got attacked viscerally because we kind of view it as motivation. But then it crossed a line to just plain old bullying. And people felt bad when they found out that he had cancer, and when he passed away, well, that sparked a completely different discussion about how we talk about people's bodies. The main thing you'll notice here about these celebrities is that nobody is really making fun of them, for the most part. Like the skeleton gif that we saw, it's not funny, but when they do, for the most part, most of the comments are concern. It's genuine concern. And so it's no longer subject to the we don't talk about people's bodies conversation. So that's the first thing. And then I also want to comment on how when celebrities are celebrities, they put themselves in a position to be talked about. Okay? So when people go, we don't talk about other people's bodies, celebrities want you to. People forget. Celebrities literally want you to. Their entire being as a celebrity, as a public figure, is to spark societal discussion. That's what they're there for. So it's almost hypocritical when you'll see celebrities liking the comments, people saying we shouldn't talk about people's bodies. As a celebrity, you know that you have a heightened responsibility, and we'll get into this a little bit later with the second point, but you have a heightened responsibility to your fans, to the people that follow you, to your followers, to everything. You have a heightened responsibility because you know that anything you put out there is for us to discuss, is for us to emulate, typically for us to support. And it's what they want. Celebrities want attention. Not to say that if they are struggling with an eating disorder or some kind of health struggle or whatever, that's not to say maybe that's not what they want the focus to be on. But if they didn't want the focus to be on anything that they're going through negatively, they would not put themselves in the public eye. I'm going to offer a little bit of unique perspective here. Sometimes people don't talk about this, but me being in the media field, I know that there are often watertight non-disclosure agreements, watertight contracts that stipulate you have to make public appearances. And that is maybe that could be some of the celebrities that are dealing with whatever they don't want to be seen, but they don't have a choice. We could argue that for the most part, but then you got a lot of celebrities that will post their bodies in very affectatious ways. They want people to see it. They want people to take pride. The outfits that they wear, sometimes the contracts apply to the outfits, but for the most part, the outfits that they choose to wear, the angles that they choose to post, they are all deliberately putting them in front of the public facing. And then the final point about speaking on other people's bodies. No, there should not be any body shaming, but there should not be pride in unhealthy bodies. So I think somebody could take what I'm saying and they could go, basically you're saying we should body shame unhealthy bodies. In a way, kind of. Because unhealthy bodies aren't something that deserve praise. It's not as if they should be ashamed of themselves, but it's not something that we should be proud of. There should be no pride attached to unhealthy bodies. So when you have figures like Ariana Grande, and they're posting on Instagram constantly about the way that their ribcage is showing, or in the music video Pedal, and she's purposely moving in certain ways, in the pictures that her team is posting are showing that she's proud of her ribcage showing. Or when you have like some of the celebrities that I showed you earlier, or like Jenna Ortega proudly talking about, I don't know necessarily if it was in such a proud sense, but just proudly talking about how she would go days with that, and not in a negative sense. No, I shouldn't have done that. That's not healthy. To my knowledge, that's celebrities taking pride in unhealthy bodies. So no, we should not be body shaming. This is what the public is saying, but there should be no proudness in it. Nobody should be happy to have any kind of body like this. So that's the first thing when it comes to the body shaming argument. This is what the general consensus is. The second thing is that celebrities can be victims and still perpetuate unhealthy standards at the same time. So another way to say this: you can be a victim and be an abuser at the exact same time. It's possible. So in one of my previous videos, the previous video about Ariana Grande, we had a comment and somebody said, we are victim shaming to a dangerous level here. And here's my response to that. You can be a victim, yes, but if you are conscious, like I said, about how other people are going to perceive you personally, publicly, if you are already a public figure, you've experienced this in your life, and you know what effect it's going to have on people, and you still choose to do what you do and to take pride in your unhealthy body, you're not just a victim anymore. Now you're part of the problem. Celebrities can be victims of public scrutiny. They can be victims of hate attacks. They can be victims of their EDs. They can be victims of weight loss, or they can be victims of some kind of sickness, or even drug or substance abuse. But the second that you put it out there as a celebrity, as a public figure, in the media, as something to be followed, you're part of the problem. Okay, they have a heightened sense of they everything that we think about. Like before you post a picture on Instagram and you think, oh my God, this is so ugly, I can't put it out there, people are gonna make fun of me, or oh, I like this one, but I don't want anybody to think yada yada yada. They have that on 10. Not to mention that they have teams that help them out with this. They have public relation agencies, full-on agencies. I'll give you an example. When I reach out to a celebrity to shoot one of their upcoming shows, whenever they're on tour or something, I never am able to get in direct contact with the celebrity. I always reach out to either their marketing agency or their PR firm. These people handle the entire public image and persona of the celebrity. And most of the times, the celebrity has a very, very, very thick hand in the work that's being done. So it's not like it's happening behind their back and they don't know what's going on. They know exactly how they're being branded. And most of the times, the PR agents are at the whim of the celebrity. So when I reach out to them and I reach out to these agencies, it is almost like I'm reaching out to the celebrity, but I'm reaching out on behalf. They're responding to me on behalf of that individual. So I know for a certainty there are teams for every single last one of these people that show up on the red carpet. There are teams that know the image that they're perpetrating and putting out there, and yet they still choose to do it. And I think it's very, I think it's very interesting. And on this same chord, before we segue into our final thought, you can still perpetuate an unhealthy standard. You can still be responsible for making this a societal norm without being vocal. You don't have to explicitly say, "This is my body, and I approve this message." You don't have to. Silence, their influence, just being out there in the public, their campaigns, their red carpets, their magazines, their Instagram posts, aestheticizing anything in relation to their body. They're putting their stamp of approval on it, and they are basically trying to change. A lot of the comments were saying, the people mentioned, they're trying to change the societal norm. And so they don't have to say it aloud. And this is probably the last, but this is the last point that I'll bring up here about how silence and avoidance are acceptance. Originally, I said it can become acceptance, but I'm changing it to it is acceptance. One of the big discussions that we're having here is that, I don't know if you remember the comments that people were having about people looking like the 90s and 2000s, and they're trying to bring heroin chic back. That was a trend. It almost became a societal norm. And before anybody, while the most of the majority of people that were seeing it didn't think that it was necessarily unhealthy, it was a fad and whatnot. Or when you have the likes of like people like Karen Carpenter, who died as a result of her eating disorder that wasn't really talked about too much, but there were people who were trying to look like her, and she was always chasing this unhealthy standard of beauty, of heroin chic. Then something got done about it. Then society started shifting away from that, and then it went to the next trend. People started getting plastic surgery, and they started doing things, augmentation to their bodies and all that other stuff. People are right to call out when it looks like a trend is trying to resurface. They're right to call it out. So when you see celebrities that choose to stay silent, but they keep posting, and they keep putting out media, and they keep making it look glamorous, and they don't make any statement about it. And then you have more than just one. You have Ariana Grande, you have Alexa Demi, you have Miss Moore, and then you have Jenna Ortega, and you just keep having celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. People will begin to recognize that as, oh, well, I guess this is normal. This is the new normal, unless you have a conversation around it. Here's where the issue comes in. When you choose to stay silent and the don't talk about people's bodies is still out there, it becomes weaponized. Not talking about somebody's body becomes a way to let the worst happen in society. Basically, this is the general consensus of people. This is what the general consensus of people are saying, because you'll have in the comment section, you'll have somebody with a genuine concern about the body of their favorite celebrity, and somebody will go, don't talk about people's bodies. It's not polite. We're not supposed to do that. And then now you have celebrity after celebrity and celebrity do it. And you create that chain reaction. Guess what happens? The trend comes back because nobody was there to fight it. Nobody was there to talk about. And you told your fans to not believe their eyes. You told them that this was normal. Now the trend has resurfaced and people can't do anything about it. So it's almost encouraging for people in the comment section to see that this isn't something that's just being suppressed in the algorithm. A side note, a personal opinion. This is my personal opinion, not my professional take. A lot of the people that are commenting or make comments about it, from what I've seen, are either very fanatical about the celebrities that they're defending. They love them to death, or they're bots. I'm very good at spotting bots. This is one of my superpowers, and nobody knows it. I'm very good at spotting bot accounts. When somebody, I'm a public figure. So whenever I try to get somebody's Instagram, they're like, oh, you have 100,000+ followers. Me too. And I'm like, really? Okay, cool. And I go and look at their content. I go, something doesn't make sense. And I look at their views. Something doesn't make sense. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are bot followers. Or I see you post online. I'm like, well, this doesn't really align with what the general public would usually think. I can see that they're bot followers. I'm not going to say the majority, but a large amount of the people, from my personal opinion, that are making comments contrary to what the general public and media is saying are bots or really crazy fanatical people. Like in my previous YouTube video, we had a young lady, I'm going to assume, she said in the comments that, she didn't like the video when we were talking about Ariana Grande. And she goes, well, if Ariana's not going to eat, I'm not going to eat either. That's not a normal person. That's not a healthy mentality to take. That's somebody that's taking a fan relationship too far. Okay, that's now passed into obsession. And this is just a little bit of professional advice for any public figure that may be watching. Okay, anybody who's interested in growing their brand or making any kind of public facing business or creative industry or just personal brand. When you're silent on an issue, two things can happen. You have two things that can happen. You can either be silent and leave the public eye, or be silent and keep working and don't worry about what other people are talking about and it will go away. Or you can keep silent and keep doing what is making people angry or making people talk, or keep silent and just not do anything at all about the issue, like no whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Just like keep silent and do nothing. And what will happen, and what we're seeing happening with the celebrities, because nobody's commenting on it. Nobody's commenting on it. You're going to allow conspiracy theories and negative comments and negative, connotations to run wild, unchecked. You're taking the key and you're locking it. You go run wild with all the conspiracy theories, because what people will start to do is they'll start to reach back in your media file and whatever you talked about in the past, that's what you just said. So if you said it 3 years ago and you're dealing with an issue right now and you haven't said anything about the issue right now, and you're going to keep doing the thing that's causing the issue, what you said 3 years ago now becomes what you said today. And that's what's going to keep happening. If you are going to keep silent and you're not going to change the issue, what you said 3 years ago, it's just going to keep coming up in the media. It's going to keep resurfacing and resurfacing and resurfacing. So for my professional opinion, what Jenna Ortega is going to have to do based off of the statements that she made, and my personal opinion is that she made those statements intentionally. I don't think she's going to come out with another statement in regards to it. I think we're going to see the same Ariana Grande treatment. But if Jenna Ortega wants to leave this media windstorm, she's going to put out a public statement, retracting her statement or clarifying what she meant, or addressing people's concerns on her body. Of course, she doesn't have to. She doesn't want to. But this is, if she wants to avoid the media storm, this is what a media professional would tell you to do. Again, everybody's PR, they had to have fired their PR teams, because I don't know what's going on with any of these celebrities' PR teams, which is why I feel, these people are highly paid. You have to remember that. These people are highly paid to make, you understand, to make these celebrities appear perfect in the public image. So I'm quite sure, in my, again, personal, professional opinion, this has to be intentional. I can't imagine this being some kind of campaign where people don't want this to happen. To me, this is a targeted campaign. And what I'm thinking, which is what along with the rest of the people in the media are thinking, is that this is a targeted campaign to try to bring back a trend of heroin chic, make this a new beauty standard. The reason, I'm not sure why. There are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around about darker implications, government involvement, cult behavior. We can't verify any of that. We can't even verify that any of these celebrities are truly healthy, truly unhealthy. Like if they have an illness, some kind of disease, an ED, dealing with substance abuse, we can't. But we can be sure about those three things. And I'm just going to give you those 3 points just one more time. Health concerns override the don't talk about anybody's body. Celebrities can still be victims and abusers at the same time. And then finally, silence and avoidance is acceptance. So try to keep that in mind. This is what the media is talking about. This is what people are trying to say in the comment section. Hopefully, I was able to bring this together in a way that made sense and was respectful and maybe relatable. I'm interested in hearing your opinions. Go ahead and drop your opinions in the comments. I do offer one-on-one coaching on my website if you're a public figure, creative business owner. If you'd like to start any of those things, start an Instagram, start a creative business, go ahead and hit me up. I'm your guy for all things media. And as usual, be safe. And I'm going to go ahead and catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Bye-bye.